let me get this straight. She hands over the gem dealie to Prince Who's-It, but then betrays him too, shooting him?
Yeah, that's about the long and short of it.
Why'd she blast him with a pistol? She could've whacked him good with a key blast.
I don't know. I guess she didn't want to risk hitting something that would blow up the ship?
How'd that guy end up surviving? Was she a bad shot or what?
Nisette Tilden was a trained soldier of the Penguin Liberation Army. I can only imagine it took a great deal of luck on Cassis's part that he lived long enough to be healed by Pen Pen. And Pen Pen exchanged him for the return of the crystal.
Not for nothing, but in my crew, if we had a rat or a sellout, we'd take him for a ride. How'd that bitch skate?
The blessed forgiveness of the She-King of Penguins.
I'd have clipped the damn bitch. Where is she now? I can still do it for you.
She's living on an island somewhere, and no thanks.
She's single?
I just told you she's a traitor, dude. What's wrong with you?
Girl like that, I gotta figure she's TTF.
That's gross, Poncho Truth. Go grab an Orange Julius or something. Penguin Truth here, and I'm capping off Dragon Ball Month on Otaku Evolution this year with the last Dragon Ball Z movie for several years, Wrath of the Dragon. Originally titled Dragon Fist Explosion! If Goku can't do it, who will? Which is just a mouthful like most DBZ titles. Wrath of the Dragon was the 13th DBZ movie. Released in 1995 before the end of the Boo arc on TV, it would be the last DBZ movie until 2013's Battle of Gods. For many years, we all just assumed this would be the last DBZ movie, and from what I can tell, most of us were just fine with it. 13 movies is enough, right? Probably enough. I mean, it's a good thing we got more because Battle of Gods was amazing. But I'd have been fine with 13. Wrath of the Dragon is among my favorite Dragon Ball features. What's Wrath of the Dragon about, you ask? Well, it's about an hour long and has our heroes fighting a kaiju. Pretty unique, huh? Not a lot of that in the franchise, is there? Uzaru aside. And I love me a kaiju, boy, let me tell you. Give me a kaiju and I'm a happy guy. Kaiju, or strange beast movies, are movies about gigantic monsters, like the best and arguably example, 1954's Gojira. Everybody loves Godzilla, right? Originally a metaphor for the threat of nuclear weapons, Godzilla became a pop icon, and we still keep getting movies made with the big lug. Some of them even decent. Other times, well, the action is still pretty good. But there's all kinds of kaiju films, like Frankenstein Conquers the World. Yeah. Oh, and Gamera. Children love Gamera because he is a friend to children.
Gamera, get him and get him good. You can kill it, Gamera. He jumped in the air. Nice jumping there. Success.
Why do we love giant monsters so much? Besides the obvious reason that we enjoy monsters and we enjoy giant things, so giant monsters naturally follow, I think there's something else. I think we like giant monster movies for the same reason we like disaster films, because there's some primitive desire to see all we have built obliterated by some greater force, perhaps to start anew. It's like some kind of semi-masochism combined with a touch of appetite for destruction. And most of the time, we're not satisfied with monsters who just tear up a countryside. We want to see them in a big old city where they can do the most damage. Or at least to contrast our human progress with the primal force of these beasts. In Dragon Ball, most of the time, the action takes place in some remote area, away from innocent civilians who might be caught in collateral damage. Partially because the heroes are smart enough to keep it there, but also because Akira Toriyama didn't like doing ornate backgrounds, though he was fully capable. No cities on Namek, folks. But in Wrath of the Dragon, Toei was able to break from these chains and show some true citywide carnage with the arrival of Hirudegarn. In Wrath of the Dragon, Goku and the gang summon Shenron to unseal a legendary hero from a magical music box. The hero is a young man named Tapion, which for some reason is pronounced Tapion in the English dub. Anyway, Tapion is none too pleased to be released from the box, as he was sealed away for a reason. He's got part of a monster inside him. Half of it was sealed into his younger brother, but is now free, and an evil old man seeks to awaken the other half to, I don't know, destroy the universe or something. Who cares? Giant monster! Okay, Tapion is really part of the movie we can talk about. He has this cute bond with little Trunks, who's never had a brother and so projects an older brother figure onto him. For Tapion's part, Trunks reminds him of his younger brother. Trunks thinks Tapion is really cool and mysterious and tries to help him. There's even a part in the movie where Tapion absorbs all of Hirudegarn, and Trunks has to decide whether or not to mercy kill Tapion to destroy the monster. I mean, nothing comes of it, because Tapion is a big old waste of potential who has nothing to do with the defeat of the monster, but... Oh, was that a spoiler? Come on, you weren't expecting an extra character to actually do anything, were you? Tell me if this sounds familiar. A mohawked character comes forth and warns our heroes about a sealed-away evil monster. The monster is too much for the mohawked character to deal with, so our heroes try to defeat it with fusion. When that doesn't work, ultimately Goku has to defeat it himself. It's almost like they did that in the main storyline. But hey, giant monster!
What kind of creature is that?
I guess what I'm trying to say is, I basically love this movie for the novelty of Goku and the gang versus a kaiju in the city. I mean, do you really need much more out of a DBZ movie? Look, we get the Great Saiyan Man, a memorable Ocarina tune, Go-Tanks, and Goku pulling a new special move out of his ass at the last second. So it's not like there aren't features to this... feature. The art and animation is decent, the action is good, and the ending is... well, an ending. Kind of a weird ending, actually. Why would Tapion use the time machine to go back to his home? Using Dragon Ball time travel rules, he'd end up in a timeline that would now have 2 Tapions, and his brother would still be sealed up with half of Hirudegarn in him, so he would have to live without his brother, so what's the point? I mean, I guess he could hang out with the other members of his race, but he'd still be missing his brother. Why not just stick around and... Ah, right, because they don't need a movie-only character sticking around in continuity. At least, not until Battle of Gods. But hey, how cool was it to have a kaiju in a DBZ movie? Pretty sweet, huh? Have I run out of things to talk about here, or what? It's a DBZ movie, folks. It's only about an hour long, and it's about as shallow as entertainment gets. But it's fun. And that's the end of Dragon Ball Month. Will I cover Dragon Ball material in the future? Possibly, but probably not a whole month of it. I hope you've enjoyed this month's look at this sugary breakfast cereal of a franchise. Next time, the mid-year English dub review. Until then, see ya!
嘘じゃないぜ夢が踊る地球を壊すやつは俺が黙っちゃいないカートリのパッションドラゴンボールパンチ飛ばせば
You are just the fucking worst.